I like to watch Nolf wrestle. Um, so I think we have a similar style, so I used to watch him all the time. But I don't watch like college guys that are like competing right now.
Is it guys in your weight class or in general? Like you don't watch, you don't look outside of what's going on. You don't
I
pay
don't really
attention to rankings or anything.
no, I don't really
Is
watch guys just in general.
Have you always been like that, or is it just since being here?
No, I've always been like that. I usually don't know who's at my weight or like who I'm wrestling.
Is that because you don't care, or because you don't want that to be something you think about before you wrestle?
I think a little bit of both. I don't really care who I'm wrestling. I'm not gonna wrestle like I'm not a film guy. I don't watch film or have game plans for matches, so I just go out and wrestle. And then a little bit of it is, yeah, I just I don't really want to like think about who I'm wrestling and like just go out and wrestle my match and that's it.
That's so wild. I mean, I can relate a little bit to that. I think I didn't like watching my matches. Um, when I was at school, when I was at Navy,
Mhm.
Coach Burnett was a big film guy. Monday morning or Monday afternoon after a weekend, he'd always sit you down, and I hated it. Sitting down and him critiquing every 5 seconds of film, and finding little details to improve, and just it's almost like I guess me doing these podcasts and stuff, I've kind of gotten over it, but I hate hearing the sound of my voice, like when you're
Mhm.
watching a video of yourself talking, it's like, oh, cringe. Um, but I didn't like looking at myself. And then, but back then Burnett was really good at like scouting other guys too. So he'd give us
Mhm.
notes. And so we were kind of put in a situation where we had to know who we were wrestling. But no, I think that's cool. I mean, I respect that. I think I don't think everybody can be like that for sure. Like a lot of guys need to know.
Mhm.
Um, like I'd say Elmore is kind of like that. He likes to know what the other guy does. Wask, I think, doesn't necessarily need a game plan, but he likes to know like what areas to stay out of, and uh, positions to exploit on the other
Mhm.
dude. But that's cool. I didn't know that about you. That's interesting. Um, but yeah, all right. So Caden Ricciardi. Am I even saying your last name right?
Yeah, Ricciardi. That's right.
I always feel like I'm saying it wrong. Don't hate me, Mr. Ricciardi. Uh, so you're in the man's office right now. You're not even in your room.
No.
You just
I'm in
took over.
Colette's office. Yeah, I took over. Took over the office.
Are you alone? No, nobody's studying right now.
There's a few guys in the office, not in Colette's office, but
You
there's a few
kicked them
guys.
out. You just kicked them out. You're like, I'm in charge today.
Yeah.
That's good. Um, yeah, man. I thought about it as I was like writing down the questions um to talk about, and you'll see like this is gonna be very candid. Like I have conversation starters, I guess, and then we kind of like I always veer off. It never sticks to script, but um I was, as I was writing this, I was like, wow, this is the first time I've done this with like, I guess, a true freshman,
Mhm.
somebody who's just come straight from high school. I talked to the three dudes that did the RTC house gray shirt year last year. I talked to them earlier a couple weeks ago. Uh, Last year I did Nick Treester, who, was part of that program also. But I don't think I had any freshmen from last year. So I have a few questions or conversations that I kind of wanted to pick your brain about, and get your perspective on some of the stuff, because those guys had a year of Navy. They weren't at the Naval Academy, but they were exposed to the program, and they were exposed to the team, before getting here. So I think their transition was certainly different than what you're going through right now. Um, so I'm excited to kind of hear your thoughts on that. I know you're not a huge chatterbox,
Yeah.
so I'm kind of putting you in your discomfort zone a little bit here, but this is a good way for me to get to know you a little better, and then the people who listen to this, kind of get to know you, because you've done really well so far. We're only 3 weeks into the season, but like you're starting to make some noise. I know you don't look at the rankings, you don't care about the other teams and competition, who you're wrestling, but um, you're starting to your name is starting to get out there, and I know you had a very successful high school career, so maybe you share a little bit of that with me. But the first thing I got on the docket is, when and how, like, did you hear or find out about the Naval Academy, and when did you really realize like this is where you wanted to go?
Um, so it actually started, I don't know if they still do it, but that father-son camp
Oh
that they
yeah,
used to do.
they still do it, man.
Yeah, I went to that when I was little, and I don't know. Ever since then, I was like, yeah, I want to go to the Naval Academy. So I've been up a couple times. I think you might have wrestled around this time. You know Spencer Carey?
Of course, yeah. Spencer actually, I think, got here the year I like graduated, but yeah, I know Spencer.
Yeah. So it was around that time. I was maybe 8. I just started wrestling 10, 12.
Mm.
Around then, so I was coming up. I watched a few matches, and um, I watched him a lot, wrestling for Navy, because he was a Jersey kid, I think from Lakeland. And then that kind of started it all. Before my freshman year, the start of my freshman year, I came up to a prospect camp, and then that's kind of what started it all. And then when I decided I really wanted to come here was when recruiting opened. Colat, I talked to Colat for a while, I think twice, and I was ready to commit then. My dad made me take some of my visits, but after those, I just committed before.
He made you take other visits, but you knew you wanted to come here.
Yeah,
That actually kind of surprises me. I don't know your dad super well, but he's like all in on the Naval Academy and stuff. And I
yeah.
know like your brother does like ROTC and stuff. And I don't know if you did that, but I see your dad posting pictures of your
Mm.
younger brother, and but it's Air Force, right? Or is it Navy?
It's like Navy. I
Yeah,
don't.
I think
He wants to be in the Coast Guard.
he wants to go Coast Guard.
He's gonna enlist, I think.
Okay, good for him,
So
man.
high school.
Um, okay, so like really from the beginning of your wrestling, like, and so Carrie was here during Joel Sherritt's era, so you
Mhm.
never really met Coach Burnett, other than when he came down, for blue and gold that weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, wild. Yeah, the father son camp, like, yeah, I don't know how long that's been going, but it's going for a while, and
Yeah.
it's always like the most popular camp, one of the more popular camps that we
Mhm.
do. Actually, when I got here last summer summer of 2024, I checked, came into the office, and uh that was my first week, was getting here, and it was father son week camp. So that was like my first thing doing, like, working, was doing
Mhm.
that. I had the first session and I was like, "Oh my god, I haven't wrestled in like 3 years, and you got me teaching like 6-year-olds how to wrestle with their dads." But no, it was cool. It was cool. But your exposure to that, and that being, the direct influence is, you know, that's awesome. Like, we're gonna, if we can get more Caedyn Ricciardis come to the Naval Academy from father son camp, that's wild. We love it. Um, so you had a pretty early exposure to the team, and maybe not like I mean, I know your dad wasn't in the military. Was your granddad, like, what, did anybody in your family serve? Like,
My uncle's Marine, and my grandfather was in the Army.
okay. Was that an influence on you at all, or?
Um, Not really. I don't. it really started with that father son camp, and then ever since then, I was like, I want to go to Navy, and I'd watch like around when I was little was like Spencer Carey, and I was watching those guys, and Bernstein was there.
Yeah.
I was watching, yeah. So those were the guys I was watching when I was growing up, and then I was like, yeah, it's
Okay,
awesome.
so
That'll be an awesome spot to be.
Bernstein, yeah, another Jersey guy.
Hmm.
He was a plebe my senior year. He's flying Harriers now, I think, for the Marine Corps. He just had a kid.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's wild. Okay. So since you kind of had that exposure, you knew what you were getting into, right? Like you
Mhm.
knew it was you had to serve. Like that wasn't a thing that like you had to really think about that you were conflicted with when you made your decision, or no?
No, I mean, when I looked, um, I guess my dad and like I guess my high school coaches kind of wanted me to look like more openly at everything. So, but even when I looked at it like that, I just saw like Navy was it would have been the best fit like for my future after,
Mhm.
serving and then after that. And so the
Yeah.
serving part never bothered me.
What were some of the other schools that were calling you, or like that you went on visits on? Like, not necessarily that you were interested in, but they were hitting you up.
Um, it's mostly IVs and then service academies. So I visited West Point and then I visited Cornell. And then that following week, I committed to Navy.
Okay. What
So,
was Cornell like? Besides Mac Lunas, like I don't know any of the Cornell guys. Like, did you just didn't like it, or what was the?
um,
Was
it's
Rob
just
Cole still the coach?
mm,
No,
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 Mike
It
Gray.
was Gray. Yeah, Gray.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, it just wasn't for me. I don't know. Just like it's nice. It's very nice, beautiful, but it's just I don't know. It just wasn't for me. It just was one of those things. I just went and I was like, it's just not for me.
yeah. Okay. No, I'm just curious. I mean, besides, like I said, besides Mac, and I love Mac. Mac's awesome.
Mhm.
Just didn't know, and it's also obviously a great school too.
Yeah.
um, all right. So, what did you think of Plebe Summer?
Plebe summer.
Yeah,
Um, it's not like hard. I would say the hardest part about plebe summer is I was bored a lot.
that was the hardest
Um,
part, being bored.
yeah, I thought it was so boring.
What was
Um,
boring about it? They don't give you any time to yourself. So, like, what's boring about it?
what's boring about it is like, um, I guess when you do all the little stuff like rack races or changing into uniforms quickly, and then they do that for like hours. The gray space is what's boring, standing
Mhm.
there for a while.
Yeah.
Um, that was the boring part, but I mean, there was like I loved like the O course and doing all that stuff. Um, so it was good, but other than that stuff,
The O
completely.
course is like an hour of one day of the entire 6 weeks.
It's like a minute. It takes like a
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah, it's
To,
a minute, but you probably bust over there. It's not like you ran over there or anything.
yeah.
Um, do you have any funny or what like best plebe summer experience or story? Like I like asking the plebes this.
I know the best plebe summer experience was definitely the smoker for
Smoker
me.
was crazy this summer.
Was it? I mean, it was just cool. Like it was cool to just wear a navy singlet for the first time, go out and wrestle. Everyone's there, and then after we got to go back to the wrestling room for a little bit, hang out before we went back up. So
Yeah.
it was just like a cool day. So
Yeah. You kind of got to hang out, chill out a little bit, and then obviously put on the singlet. No, I say it's crazy because I don't remember from my experience it being like that. The crowd or like the rest of the
mhm.
midshipmen or the plebes like being that engaged in it. Like at that point in plebe summer, people are like, okay, sick. Like I'm not, it's not gray space. Like I can sit down,
Mhm.
like, but
Yeah,
everybody was into it. Like people were cheering and like the companies were
yeah,
into it. Like even if they're a person that was wrestling, what, like not part of their company, like it was wild. Like,
yeah,
um, I don't remember it being like that last year, and I don't remember it
mhm.
like that for mine. So you guys had a good one, and Spencer at the end. I just remember
Yeah,
that place going crazy when Spencer was wrestling. But
yeah, that was
yeah.
crazy. That was awesome.
Um, what about any like funny stories? Like everybody's got a plebe summer story, like something that you're gonna remember, forever.
Um, Danny detailed, and
Yeah.
Danny would always come over at lunch and bother me every day. And he would walk up to us and he would just bother us, make everyone at the squad laugh, and then we get yelled at, stuff like that. The one day he came up and he goes, "Who's your favorite squad member?" And I just said the kid in front of me, and then he looked at the whole squad and he said, "Mr. Ricciardi hates all of you guys." So he would always mess with us. It was always hilarious. Um,
Did he know
yeah.
your squad leader, or was he just like he didn't care?
I think he did. Yeah, he did.
Okay.
But I don't know if I have any like really funny stories that I can remember right now.
Not a moment where you got picked on and you just like your face goes red and it's like, oh gosh, what do I do right now?
Um, that was a long time ago.
It was like I don't know, 12 weeks ago.
Yeah. No, there's not. I
That's
don't
kind of
know.
crazy. You did you like you had good roommates? You got good roommates now? Do you get to pick like what you in a good company? What's the deal?
Yeah, I do got a good company. I had great Pleep Summer roommates, so that was awesome. Um,
Napsters?
I had a Napster, and then I had a international student. So he's from
Okay.
Palau, which was
Palau. Wow.
crazy. Yeah. But yeah, no, my roommates were awesome. Now, um, we get we changed roommates once. I guess we'll change again next semester.
Mhm.
And then next year we get to pick roommates.
Okay.
But yeah, it's definitely a good company. Like a lot of the kids in it.
Where are you at? Which one?
19.
19. So are you in seventh wing
No, I'm in
or
four
one?
four zero. That's where
Four.
I yeah.
Okay, I was way off.
Yeah.
Once they added the 36 companies, my perspective is way off. I was in 11 and I was on 7-0. And I loved being in 7-0. What are you for? What?
4-0.
Okay, yeah, definitely
Yeah.
zero deck is the way to go.
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing about 4-0 is like that's high traffic. Like,
All the officers.
yeah,
Yeah.
battalion and regimental probably walk through there all the time. But
Yeah.
all right. Well, what about plebe year so far? We're like 13 weeks, 14 weeks into it
Mm,
now. Um, is this place what you expected? I'm not even talking about wrestling yet. Like
mhm.
academically, Bancroft Hall, you know, drill. I know like wrestling gets excluded from a lot of this stuff, deservingly so. But like, how is the rigors of this place? The moral, mental, physical, um, been for you during plebe year, and is it what you expected?
Um, it's definitely not what I expected. It's
In what way?
especially academically.
Okay.
I think it's definitely tough, but I think it's a lot easier than people make it out to be academically. For me, it's kind of similar to high school. I guess also I had like good time management in high school because I traveled so far, so I knew how to get my stuff done early. Um, but yeah, the school, the other stuff like all the military stuff in Bancroft, it's definitely different. I feel like a lot of it is almost to waste your time, so you have less time to do stuff. But it's definitely easier than I think a lot of people expect, or at least I expected.
Well, you bring up the time management thing. I think that's probably the hardest adjustment for
Hmm.
people when they come in. Um, and that's all part of like that's by design, and you're saying like to the things that they do to waste your time,
Yeah.
like the sig sheets, like
Yeah.
what's this another dumb example, doing the dumb boards in the hall that you
Hmm.
got to paint the boards. There's squaring corners, like the least efficient way to get from, your room to your buddy's room. Like,
Yeah.
I you say it's a waste of time, and it definitely feels like it in the moment, but
Hmm.
it's by design, right? They
Yeah.
do that not to, I mean, it is a game, but you know, those are skills that you kind of like, it becomes instinctual and natural.
Hmm.
Like when you graduate, this isn't news to you. Like obviously you understand this. But I think like your experience and your perspective isn't there yet, obviously. Like when you graduate, so 4 years from now, you're going to be in charge of people. You're going to be responsible for not only managing your responsibilities, but the duties of everybody else, and understanding what has to get done because there's other people ahead of you who are expecting that. So managing your time, and then also managing the time of other people is something that, that's a skill, but it's also like,
Hmm.
you can't really take a class to like do that. You kind of just got to
Yeah.
go through games to learn it, right? Um, so in the moment, it's like, what the heck am I doing right now?
Hmm.
But I think it makes you better in the long run.
Yeah.
You know, um, but I'm glad to hear that the games, the academics, the moral, mental, physical, the Bancroft Hall shenanigans, like, it's it's clear to me as a guy who sees you daily, like it doesn't seem to bother you, as it might
Hmm.
to other people. Um, so in my view, Navy is the right type. Like you're the right type of person to be here. Not just not. I'm not. We're not even talking about wrestling right now. Like you've
Hmm.
done a great job balancing all of that stuff. Um, you know, Switching right into wrestling now. How would you say, wrestling at Navy, wrestling at the Division I level, has been different? Like, what would you say the biggest difference is between now and a year ago?
Yeah. I mean, I think coming into college, I was prepared well. I wrestled with, you know, college wrestlers all the time. My coach, at least my club coach, coached college all the time. So I think I was prepared well. But the biggest difference I've seen, like in terms of wrestling so far, is definitely top,
Hmm.
like that riding time,
Mm.
riding people. Because in high school, and like the kids are just tougher in high school, I wouldn't ride anybody until I had like two or three takedowns. And now it's like, you fight to get one takedown and now you got to ride. So that's the biggest. It's definitely like it's more of a mental difference because I
Yeah.
knew how to ride and I could still take people down, but now it's like take people down, ride instead of take down, ride.
Yeah. Okay. So it's cool that you've like recognized that, and you had to do that last weekend.
Mm,
You had to do that last weekend, um, to win. I mean, you took the guy down. I mean, that was a crazy exchange. Actually, I'm gonna pull it up, and then we'll talk about it because that was wild.
yeah.
Yeah, here we go. Sorry, I don't have a producer that can do all this cool stuff while I'm talking. Not yet. I think we're right about it. Let's turn the volume off on this guy. All right, so hold on. Timeout. Freeze. We're at what? Third
Third.
period. You're
Mm,
down 1-0, but he's got a minute of riding or 2 minutes of riding time.
yeah, so 2-0 pretty much.
Essentially 2-0. He's got you in a front head.
Mm,
Well, I mean, we just talked about the riding time, how important that is.
yeah.
I mean, you could even argue. No, I mean, this guy's also not a freshman. He's a junior or senior. Like, so he's played the game for a little bit longer. He understands the value of that point, that riding time.
Mm-hmm.
You could argue that, like, top's important, but getting out on bottom, you probably
Yeah.
never had any issues getting out on bottom either.
No.
You never went down. You were taking people down at
Yeah.
will.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you were down, people were probably letting you up to try and score more points on their feet. But anyway, yeah, here we are, UNC last weekend. Great duel. Heartbreaker for us. I think we had opportunities. I know we had opportunities to win this.
Yeah.
But this was a big win for you. You're down essentially 2-0
Mm.
with about 50 seconds at this point in the third period. So let's watch this. Three. Little delayed reaction on the three there. So you haven't even watched this, have you?
No, I watched it with Cola the other
Okay.
day.
What did he say?
Um, he
Overall
said,
feedback, not just about this. Overall
"Oh,
feedback.
about this. Overall feedback about the match was just he wants me to pretty much get more angles and then also have a little bit more speed changes. I'm a little like I'm consistent in like a decent pace, but like having more speed changes, like just creating more flurries to get more takedowns."
Okay, now I get what you mean by that, but what does that mean really to somebody who's not doing this every day?
Um, yeah, so like I wrestle at like a very normal, decent pace, and then he wants me to like kind of speed things up and just take more shots and more fakes in like a 20-second go to just like really speed up and look to get to legs and take two, three, four shots in 20 seconds.
So flurries. He
Mhm.
wants you to create flurries, control the tempo,
Yeah.
even slow it down when you have to.
Mhm.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Did he say why?
Um, he said sometimes, sometimes like especially in this match, you're gonna need a takedown, two takedowns. When I wrestled Hardy, I
Mm,
think in the third I needed two takedowns. So at
mhm.
that point, you kind of need a speed change and you need to just take shots and get to reattacks and just keep faking and getting the legs.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there, I think. Anyway, talk me through this sequence a little bit. It's pretty fast. It all
Mm,
happens pretty quickly. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation like this. I don't know if this guy thought we were wrestling freestyle or what, but you bounce right off your hip there. Like,
yeah.
that's probably not a situation you drill every day. Like,
No.
you must have felt something where you're like, okay, like I have a little bit of clearance here to get my head
Mm,
out, and come around. I don't know if you're probably not thinking about it, but you probably thought about it since this moment. Like, you just took advantage of the guy being a little sloppy, right?
yeah. I mean, I wrestled a lot of freestyle. Like I wrestled at Buxton, so Buxton loved freestyle. So I wrestled a lot of freestyle and every time like I felt him going ahead pinch me and just like I feel like I mean I got like weird hips and knees and
Yeah,
ankles
you're
and
like an airbender, dude.
I just had the ability to just like pop up out of that and just chase the hips and he kind of relaxed after he threw me because
So you
think he
felt that. You
expected.
felt him relax, thinking like, "Oh, we're
Yeah,
out of bounds,"
yeah, I
or
mean he's
something.
kind of like laying on his stomach. He didn't like
Mhm.
head pinch me and get back into position, so it's easy to just like bounce up and circle
That's
feedback.
like awesome that you said that. It just reminded me of a conversation I had with Coder last year, um, and I think you'll probably be able to put it in a different, like, phrase this in a better
Mhm.
way. But I know you'll know what I'm talking about. There's always moments in wrestling matches where you can feel your opponent like relax or like take a breath.
Mhm.
And I feel like this is one of those moments where he took the breath, he relaxed, for a moment, and you took advantage of it. Uh, on a stand up, turning clear, there's always like a second where people are like, okay, now I'll
Yeah.
engage, or
Mhm.
like on a mat return, you pick a dude up and you slam him to their belly. Very rarely are they going to be like, shoot right back up. They're going to be like,
Mhm.
okay, let me collect myself. Let me figure out where his hands are. Do you know what I'm talking about? And is
Yeah.
there a better way of saying that, like that you think about?
Um, no, I think, like, I mean, if in this moment, like, he thought he had pinched me and I would kind of take that moment to relax,
And
and
you could have, like
mhm,
you could have, yeah.
and I just didn't. That's, like, why the score happened. So I think that's what a lot of the scores come. Some people will just, relax on their feet. They'll take a second, especially, like, right after you clear a tie, people
Mm.
will just, like, kinda, like, relax for a second, and then that's when the shot comes a lot of the times.
Yeah, clearing ties after a big scramble.
Mhm.
Sometimes in stalemated, like traditional stalemate positions, you'll feel guys relax. That one's kind of hard, but um, I feel like Josh last year, Coder was really good at wrestling through those and recognizing the situations,
Yeah.
um, and taking advantage of it. And honestly, like that is like Navy wrestling to its core. Like
Mhm.
we want to be the type of team that just outworks the other guy. And you took advantage of this guy finding a moment where he wanted to take a breath. Okay, so you realize, hey, there's 40 seconds on the clock at this
Mhm.
point. What are you
Yeah.
telling yourself?
Um, Actually, Quinn talks about, like, tops is Quinn and Danny talk about, like, sometimes top is just a mindset, and I remember actually, like, when I was ready to get on top, I was just thinking, "I'm not letting this guy get out."
Yeah,
I just, like, put it in my mind, like, "He's not getting out. I'm gonna
he
ride
ain't
him."
getting it.
Yeah.
So it's a mindset.
Yeah, I think so. A lot of the times top is a mindset, especially in short time, 30, 40
This
seconds.
is, I mean, it's not a 2-minute ride here, but
Mhm.
40 seconds is a long time for a guy to get, in double
Yeah.
overtime, you get 30 seconds. To me, 30 seconds is kind of like that cutoff between like not a lot of time.
Mhm.
But he's got 40 seconds to tie this thing back up. And you're telling yourself he ain't getting out.
Mhm.
Oh, a little caution right there.
Yeah. I was cheating a little bit.
What do you mean?
I had my knee up. It was a good
I saw
caution.
that. What was that? Did you do it on purpose? Oh,
Um,
you
a little
just,
bit.
just anticipating something.
Yeah, I just put more pressure on him and just so my knee can come in. But
You're
yeah,
hoping the ref wouldn't catch it.
yeah, he did.
And you didn't get hit for stalling or anything, right? Like you just
No.
wrote him out.
Yeah.
And then when he was on bottom, I guess at the beginning of the third, did you just cut him? I can't. Did you even try to ride him?
No, we let him up.
It's a skill. Riding is a skill, I think more so is a mindset. I mean, you just
Mm,
said that, and as you like it's crazy. You're a freshman, and you've already like recognized that and identified that as something that hey, maybe I do need to get a little better at this, or um, incorporate this into my game a little bit. I think that's really mature of you, but you're only going to get better there, which is scary, you know. And then getting to work with a guy like Quinn, who's just a savage on top.
Yeah.
You know, what do you how would you describe? You know, you have the privilege of getting to work with Quinn daily, Josh daily, you know, while
Mhm.
he's still around. Like maybe talk a little bit about that because, you know, I think that puts you leagues ahead of like other dudes you're going to be competing against.
Yeah. I mean, it's awesome. Like, and they're both good at different stuff, which is also awesome. So like Josh is he's great at reshots, and I take a lot of shots, a lot of fakes. So with Josh, a lot of the times I'm working on recovering from shots, like taking a shot, missing, coming back up, and then reshooting. And
Mm,
so some stuff like that's been great. And then like Quinn, like I know I think we went twice last week before this match actually, and we just
mm,
did top and bottom the whole time. So to just learn from like because Quinn is so good on top, and to learn like even just him, a lot of the goes was just him riding me, and I was just feeling like where he put his pressure and like when I did something where his hips would go or how his pressure would change or where he'd put his hands. So to have guys like that every day and like just Quinn and Coder like wrestling them every day, I think
mm.
just it just makes me like so much better at all
Yeah.
these different positions. So
Yeah, I think well, I mean you nailed it. I think you recognize the opportunity that you have in front of you and you're taking advantage of it, which is great.
mm,
You know, that's why the Navy Wrestling Club exists is to have guys like Quinn for you to compete with on a daily basis. And, you know, we're just fortunate enough to have, you know, Josh around for a little bit longer. And I really encourage you to continue to pick his brain while we still do because I think he's a mental giant too when it comes to
mhm,
like mindset stuff. Um, and I know you will, but I'm just throwing it out there just to continue to talk to him, and I'm sure you'll talk to him after he leaves. You know,
yeah,
because that dude every time he laced up, like he knew he was going to win.
mhm,
No, he just found a way, however it was going to be. Um, you know, kind of along this lines, I'm kind of taking a segue here, but along the lines, like, you know, you do get to work with guys like Quinn and Josh on a daily basis, but beyond that, like, how would you describe the culture of the program and the guys that you get to, you know, call your brothers every day?
yeah. I think especially this year and moving forward, um, I think we're moving a lot towards, and I haven't been here previously, but we're moving towards a lot a culture of just more winning from everyone on the team. I think we're just moving towards that, with guys like Spence and Danny and just them and Cayman every day. You just see like, especially Danny, like just the way he works out and who he works out with and like the lifts that he does, the extra stuff that he does. And I think people are starting to kind of, I guess, catch on to that. And they were starting to move more towards just this culture of just winning and success in general.
It's cool that you brought up Cayman. Obviously, he's the team captain,
Mhm.
but why? Maybe this is hard, but why did he immediately jump to your head there?
Um, well, I mean, one of the things is him going with Danny. I mean, they're like lifting partners now, so I always see
Mm-hmm.
him and Danny just every week, just getting better. And then always see Cayman. Like every time I look over, he's always practicing hard and doing the right stuff, getting the lifts in. And then besides that, like recently, um, on the mat, he's just been the guy. He's
He
been going after
competes.
people. He does
He
compete.
competes really hard. He competes really
Yeah.
hard, and I think that's a byproduct of the way that he trains.
Mhm.
You know, Cayman's a guy you can count on to just leave it out there regardless of who he's wrestling, and it's crazy. He could go out and tech the number 9 guy in the country just by outwilling the guy, which he
Yeah.
did. Um, I would say he lacks a little bit of consistency on the mat, but but I think he leads by a great example with his work ethic and the way that he competes. Um, but I agree with what you're, regarding the culture of the team, and this is something that Coach Colat highly emphasized in the off season before you got here is creating a competitive culture and a competitive environment. Like winning is what's important, right?
Mhm.
The people in the room that you're competing with, the type of person you're competing with in the room is important. Um, and I agree with what you're saying. Like, we've had 3 losses in duels so far, 2 of which were within a takedown away of winning against
Mhm.
uh, low 20 ranked programs. Whether that's a mental fatigue problem or Pitt was within a takedown, and this past weekend um, UNC was within. There were several matches where 1 or 2 guys could have done one thing, 1/2 second thing different, whether it was get a takedown, not give up a takedown, or whatever. So I think you're right. The trajectory of the program and the culture of the room is in a positive trend. I think it's just like what's going to be the next thing. I think it's going to take a big win over another in a duel, probably in a duel. It's going to take a big duel win for other people to for guys on the team to realize the potential of the program. But
Mhm.
the environment of the team, the environment of the practice room, I think we've got to be consistent with what we've been doing and believe in the process. Um, Along the same lines, we talked about the rigors of the school. We've talked about the rigors of Bancroft and the shenanigans that you go through on a daily basis. Um, a lot of people who are in different programs would probably say those are things that maybe hinder your ability to progress in the sport or to succeed. How maybe I can rephrase this a better way, but how would you explain the culture of the Naval Academy and the program uh, to prepare you for success on and off the mat? Really, I guess you're a Naval Academy guy.
Mhm.
Like, why does the school make you better? Like, all of the crap that you go through on a daily basis make you better to be successful on and off the mat, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we do, you know, just it's just so different, I think, than any other college. Because you're not going to 1, 2 classes a day and just hanging out and going to practice at 11. It's so different. And just through like, going to practice at 5:45 and then classes and then lift and then classes and then, study hall, whatever you have after. I think that just makes everybody on the team just a little bit more disciplined than everyone else for wrestling, makes everyone a little tougher than everyone else for wrestling. And I think it just sets you up for success in a way where when when you have a lot of stuff to do and you have a lot of things going on, it doesn't bother you. You just kind of move through it, and like through all of this, I think it just makes athletes better. I don't think I disagree that it hinders anything,
Yeah.
because we're just always, we're always working, and we're getting better every second of the day, pretty much.
No, I obviously agree with you.
Hmm.
I think that, if you look at guys that you're going to compete against at Bucknell or, you know, Virginia Tech or, whatever, like they would look at the things that you do on a daily basis as, you know, hindrances from success, preventing them from getting better. I am with you and agree that the disciplines that you have to undergo on a daily basis, like those are things that make you better, not only
Hmm.
as a wrestler, but obviously as a young man. Um, it kind of forces you to get your ducks in a row. Like you have
Hmm.
to find balance in your life, which is something that everybody has to do, throughout their life. Like, when you graduate college, like things don't necessarily get easier. There isn't less stuff on your plate, and I think that's something that the Naval Academy obviously prepares you for better than any other place. You know, you might not be wrestling, but you're still going to have a lot of things to take care of and be good at. So I'm with you, and it's very cool to see the maturity of you recognizing that at a young age. Obviously you made this decision. Your interest in this place was way prior to Coach Colette calling you.
Hmm.
I think that's a testament to your parents. I think that's a testament to your character. And man, I am freaking excited to see the noise that you create, over the next 4 years, man. And you're that next. I mean, my eyes, you're that next guy that our program can kind of build around. People from New Jersey are gonna be like, oh, Caedyn Ricciardi went to Navy. Like that's a program where I can be successful at. Um, I want to be like that kid. You
Hmm.
know, I mean, I'm sure you knew who Quinn was when you were younger, watching him
Yeah.
tear it up. Um, but now we've got guys, or you've got guys, young guys in the state of New Jersey, being like, "Oh, I want to be like that kid. Look at what he's doing right now."
Hmm.
You're going to be somebody's Spencer Carey essentially, and that's pretty wild. And I'm excited, dude, to get to work with you and see how far you go. And then obviously watch you have a great Navy or Marine Corps career. So, but with that, man, I told you 45 minutes. We're at 48 minutes, so I owe you 3 minutes, and I apologize. But any other things you want to talk about, or anything, any questions for me? Any things you want to share with my 100 fans that watch this show?
Um, no, I'm excited to be here and wrestle for Navy, and just excited for the next 4 years and everything that's gonna happen. Just looking forward to Vegas now. I'm excited to get
Yeah.
out there and compete.
Yep. Vegas,
Yeah,
next thing on the schedule,
yeah,
December 4th and 5th.
yeah. It's around then.
Gosh, I'm so bad.
I think it's fifth and sixth because I think we leave the third.
5th and 6th. You're right. Blame my
Yeah,
last. 5th and 6th, December 5th and 6th. You guys will head out there a couple days early.
yeah,
Yeah, Cliff Keen is going to be great for you.
yeah. I'm excited.
Um, that'll be a really good tournament for you. Um, yeah, we got a couple weeks till then, and then we got Morgan State on the 20th. We go on Christmas break, come back real quick for the Soldier Salute, another awesome tournament. Loved that
Mm.
tournament last year. That was my favorite tournament last year. I might as well just keep going. After Soldier Salute, we got Lehigh. We're in the Snake Pit this year, January 17th. Right after that, we are hosting George Mason at home on the 18th. And then we'll go to Bloomsburg January 23rd. Then American on the 25th. So the 23rd is a Friday, Sunday weekend. Friday at Bloomsburg, Sunday at American. February 8th. So a couple, it must be 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks after American, we will host Bucknell. And then 2 weeks after that, we've got Army at home. So stand by for more to come on the Army Duel. We'll be hosting a pre-match social in Alumni Hall in the Twilliger Center. Or not Twilliger, excuse me. I forget the name of the banquet hall that we have in Alumni, but that's where we're going to be doing. More information to follow on that one. Obviously looking to get some redemption on Army this year. And, if things keep going the way that you and I have been talking, it's going to be a great duel. It always is, but I think we're going to bring some fireworks for sure. I know you will.
Yeah.
All right, Caedyn, man. I've taken up too much of your night already. I appreciate you coming in, and I'll see you in the morning, buddy.
Yep. Thank you.